We can bat straight, sir. Let me ask you about the challenges that you foresee now as far as the state of Uttar Pradesh is concerned, because as the BJP has been claiming that this was an election that was fought on the Vikas card, on the development card. I'm just looking at the numbers, sir. Unemployment rate of 4.8%, revenue deficit of over 49,000 crores, fiscal deficit of 2.9%, outstanding debt of over 2 lakh crore rupees. What is going to be the challenge for the BJP as you try and turn this massive state around?
I think you are talking about a state with 200 million people. And when you talk about Uttar Pradesh, it would have been the 7th largest country in the world. And definitely it's a challenge. And 2.5 decades now, no government. But this is a time to align the state government to the central government, which possibly people thought it will work. So thank you for all those figures. I don't have them, and I have done a good research. The Chief Minister who will take over would take cognizance of what you have said. But these are going to be challenges. I have been to Uttar Pradesh. It's a neighboring state. Things were bad. I do not know what people talked in Delhi, but when you entered in a place like Allahabad, when you went to Kanpur, and even when the central government trying its best in Varanasi, we could not make a headway because there were constraints. The vision of the state government of Uttar Pradesh was not aligning itself to the central government. And I think it's a great opportunity now for the state. I'm sure the Chief Minister, who is going to be there very shortly, would align, and it could be a fast-track state growth like any other BJP-ruled states. It's a great opportunity. I'm sure we are going to grab it.
Mr. Rudy, I'll leave the politics to Bhupen, but let me ask you about what the economic implications of this victory could mean. There has been a lot of talk, and we saw that even around the budget time, that maybe we could see some more radical moves from the government. For instance, the introduction of a universal basic income scheme. This was an idea that was put forward by the chief economic advisor in his economic survey, but that was based on the premise that you will have to do away with some of the existing schemes like the NREGS, the current PDS system, and so on and so forth, because otherwise the cost to the exchequer would be almost 4.5% of GDP. So can we now expect, perhaps, as we move towards 2019, radical measures like the universal basic income scheme coming in?
I anticipate that. And you see, we have a commitment. And the policies of the government, if you see from day one, has been focused or has been veering around the poor, the needy, the so-called the deprived. And the policies are very focused there. Sorry. So I think what you're saying, there are many things up the sleeves of the Prime Minister. I'm showing he's going to unfurl it and bring many more things. But I would not be the right person to make a comment. I look after Skill India, and I have a complete mandate to do that. And the process by which the Prime Minister
you're responsible for job creation, sir. We're seeing a huge challenge as far as job creation is concerned. Even at 7 and 8% growth, we were not creating the kind of jobs that we need.
I would like the distinguished panel to understand that my job is to train people for the kinds of job available in the market. And I say I do not see any dearth of entry-level jobs. My job is to train people for the jobs being created. So the economy, when it grows at a particular level, gets investment, generates employment, and all that process is a larger macroeconomic policy, not confined to the Ministry of Skill Development. But nonetheless, we are aware of all this. We are hands-on on all this, and the Prime Minister is working overtime to see all these policies which we have promised.
Final question
they are
from me,
in the
sir.
process.
A quick final question from me, because we're in the midst of the budget session of Parliament. You are going to resume on Tuesday. The GST legislation, is it a done deal now, you believe, through both houses of Parliament?
I think the message is loud and clear. All those who may have thought about it, but I think more or less everyone is reconciled now. Everyone has, all the political parties are more or less on board to carry this great reform which we have been talking, but there could be small teething problems here and there, but the Finance Minister has very categorically mentioned it's going to roll out on a particular day after a month or so. So I think it's on the track, and with this victory and the problem in the Rajya Sabha, I think we'll be able to fast-track the development agenda with the Prime Minister and the reforms agenda, which had been slightly getting obstructed occasionally, but now with the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, the numbers falling in place, things would be much good for the nation, and we would be in a situation to carry forward the policies which the Prime Minister and the government has laid out.
Mr. Rudy, always a pleasure speaking with you, sir.